You know, Alex, a lot of people feel nervous when they try small talk in English. They don't know what to say first or how to keep the conversation going. But today, we're going to make that so much easier.
Absolutely. And if you're listening right now, welcome to Practice English Anytime. I'm Alex.
And I'm Maya. Today, we're talking about something everyone needs: small talk for beginners. How to start conversations, how to sound friendly, and how to feel confident even if you're just learning English.
And before we start, make sure you subscribe to our channel so you can practice English with us every day. It really helps you build natural speaking skills over time.
So let's start talking about small talk in a natural way, just like friends do in real life. And we'll explain some of the useful phrases along the way, but we're still keeping everything inside one smooth conversation.
Exactly. So let's begin with the most basic small talk topic, something everyone uses: the weather. It sounds simple, but it's one of the easiest ways to start a conversation with someone you don't know very well.
Right, because it's safe, universal, and doesn't require personal details. For example, I could say, "It's such a bright day today." That's a soft, friendly way to begin.
And then someone could respond with something simple like, "Yes, it is. It feels really warm outside." The conversation starts small, but it opens the door.
And people think small talk is just about the weather, but that's not true. It's about showing interest, sounding friendly, and making the other person comfortable.
Exactly. Actually, let's pretend we're meeting for the first time at a cafe. How would that conversation begin?
I'd probably notice something simple. For example, if we were both waiting in line, I might say, "The queue is moving slowly today, isn't it?" And that's a great beginner friendly sentence because it invites a response.
True. I could reply, "Yes, it is. I guess everyone had the same idea. Coffee first." That little joke makes the vibe more relaxed.
And after that, there's a natural next step. I might say, "Do you come here often?" It sounds classic, but it's actually a very common small talk question.
And I could answer, "Yes, I usually stop by before work. Their coffee is really good." Then I might add a follow-up question like, "What about you?" Because beginner small talk works best with simple follow-up questions.
Yes, that "what about you" question keeps the conversation going. It's small, but powerful.
Another great topic beginners can use is talking about someone's day. It's very natural and works in almost any situation. If I'm greeting a coworker, I might say, "How's your morning going?"
It's a friendly question, not too personal, easy to answer. And I could reply, "It's going well, just a bit busy. How about yours?" That structure is incredibly beginner friendly.
And when you answer, you don't need long sentences. You can keep it very simple: "Pretty good so far," or "Not bad." Short and natural.
Something beginners don't realize is that small talk doesn't need big or interesting stories. It can be basic. Even the most simple question can build a real connection.
Exactly. Another easy topic is hobbies. If you don't know what to talk about, asking about hobbies is always safe and friendly.
Something like, "Do you like reading?" Or "Do you play any sports?" Even if you don't play sports, you can still answer politely.
Yes, for example, "I don't play sports, but I like walking in the evenings." It's still a great answer.
And the key to good small talk is showing interest. For example, if someone says, "I like reading," don't just say, "Okay." Instead, ask something simple like, "What kind of books do you enjoy?"
That's a beginner-friendly way to keep the conversation alive.
Another really useful topic is talking about weekends. People love sharing what they did. It's easy, it's friendly, and it doesn't feel awkward.
True. I could ask you, "Did you have a nice weekend?" And you could answer with something short like, "Yes, it was relaxing." Then I might ask, did you do anything fun? And you can share a simple detail.
Exactly. And details don't need to be big or exciting. Beginners often feel they need to say something fancy, but no, they can talk normally. For example, I watched a movie or I met a friend for lunch.
That's perfect, because small talk is about connecting, not impressing.
Another great beginner-friendly small talk strategy is using compliments. But the compliments should be simple and natural. For example, if someone has a nice bag, you can say, I like your bag. The color is really nice.
That's friendly without being too personal. And if someone compliments you, you can answer with, thank you, that's kind of you. Then maybe add something like, I got it last month.
It creates a soft, friendly moment. And those little moments help people open up.
Another common situation is when you meet someone through a mutual friend. Imagine your friend introduces you to me at a small gathering. You could say, nice to meet you. I've heard good things about you.
Yes, that line is polite and easy for beginners. And I could reply, nice to meet you too. How do you know Anna? It doesn't matter who the friend is. You're just opening the conversation using the mutual connection.
Yes, names don't matter here. The sentence structure is what's useful.
Another great tool for small talk is talking about your environment. Beginners can look around and comment on something they see. It's simple and works almost everywhere.
For example, if we were waiting for a bus, I might say, it looks like the bus is running late again. And you could answer with something like, yes, it usually is around this time.
It's small, but it starts something. And from there, you can move to other topics.
Exactly. Something I notice is beginners often panic because they think they need to talk non-stop. But small talk isn't fast. It's slow, relaxed, and has pauses.
Yes, pauses are okay. A short silence doesn't mean the conversation is bad. It means you're both thinking. Even native speakers pause.
Another tip is asking simple opinion questions. For example, do you like this song? Or, what do you think of this place? Very beginner-friendly.
Yes, because opinion questions are open and people usually enjoy answering them. And you can respond with something simple like, I like it, or it's not my favorite, but it's nice.
That's enough to keep the flow going. Small talk doesn't need long answers.
Another situation that's great for practice is when you share something small about yourself. For example, I started learning how to cook last month. It's not too personal, but it invites the other person to share something too.
Yes, and I could answer with, oh, really? What dishes are you learning? That creates a natural exchange.
Beginners can also start conversations by noticing something positive about the space. For example, if you're in an office waiting area, you could say, it's really quiet here today.
And that opens the door for someone to reply, yes, it usually gets busy later.
And of course, asking about someone's job is a classic topic, very common. But beginners should keep it simple. For example, what do you do for work?
And if you want to answer simply, you can say, I work in marketing, or I'm a student. Short, clear, easy.
And if you don't want to talk about work too much, you can shift the topic by asking, what do you like to do in your free time? That keeps the conversation friendly and less formal.
Small talk works best when the questions are open but still simple.
And beginners should remember, you don't need perfect grammar. You just need to sound friendly and show interest.
Yes, small talk isn't an exam. It's social. People care more about your tone than your grammar.
Exactly. And one more thing, beginners can use softeners to make sentences sound more natural. For example, I was wondering, or maybe, or I think.
Yes, like, I was wondering if you like music. Or, maybe we have similar interests. These phrases make your English sound gentle and polite.
And they help with confidence too, because the sentences feel easier to say.
Absolutely. And for beginners, the best way to learn small talk is to practice regularly, even if it's just a few minutes a day.
Yes, a little bit of practice each day builds confidence. And soon, talking to new people won't feel scary at all.
And that's exactly why we're here, to help you practice naturally every day.
Right? So let's keep going with more easy, small talk examples and explanations.
Let's continue with simple ways beginners can keep a small talk conversation alive. One of the easiest methods is reacting with short, natural responses. Even something like, "Oh, really?" or "That sounds nice," keeps the conversation moving.
Yes, those little reactions are very important. Beginners often think they need long sentences, but short reactions show you're listening and interested. For example, if someone says, "I went to the park yesterday," you can reply, "Nice," or "That sounds relaxing."
Exactly. And if you want to add just a little more, you could say, "I like parks too," or "I haven't been to a park in a while." Still simple, but more inviting.
Another great strategy beginners can use is asking follow up questions with "Do you?" or "Did you?" These structures are easy. For example, "Do you go there often?" or "Did you enjoy it?"
Yes, and follow-up questions help the other person talk more. Conversations are easier when you don't feel like you're carrying all the weight.
Definitely. And beginners should remember they don't need perfect vocabulary. They can describe things simply. For example, instead of saying delicious, they can say very good. Instead of exhausted, they can say very tired.
Exactly. Simple English can still sound very natural. Actually, let's pretend we are practicing some common small talk topics right now, as if we're demonstrating for beginners. Like, let's try a short conversation about hobbies.
Sure, I could start by saying, "Do you have any hobbies?" Very standard, very easy.
And I could reply, "Yes, I enjoy cooking." And then you might ask, "What do you like to cook?" That's enough to create a small friendly moment.
Right. And then you could say something like, "I like making simple pasta dishes." After that, I could respond with something like, "That sounds nice," or "I love pasta too."
That simple structure works every time. Short question, short answer, tiny reaction, follow-up question. That's the foundation of small talk.
And another common situation is when you meet someone at a workplace event or casual gathering. Beginners can start with a safe question like, "How do you know everyone here?"
Yes, it's very natural in social settings, and the other person might answer, "I work with James," or "I'm a friend of the host." Then the conversation can continue from there.
Beginners can also talk about simple daily routines. For example, "Do you usually wake up early?" or "Do you like morning coffee?" People love talking about their daily habits.
And routines are familiar, so they feel easy to talk about. For example, if someone asks me, "Do you wake up early?" I can say, "Not usually, but I try to." And then I might add, "What about you?"
That "what about you" question is so helpful. It keeps everything balanced and friendly.
Yes, it shows you're not just talking, you're having a conversation.
Another excellent small talk tool is sharing a little opinion. Beginners can say things like, "I think this place is nice," or "I like quiet cafes." It doesn't need to be deep, just a small opinion.
True. And then someone else might respond, "I agree," or "I feel the same way." That's how simple agreements build a natural flow.
And even if someone disagrees, it's fine. For example, if I say, "I enjoy quiet cafes," you might say, "I prefer busy cafes. They have more energy." That's still a friendly exchange.
Exactly. Another easy conversation topic is talking about transportation. People think it's boring, but it's actually great for small talk. Is the train usually crowded in the morning? Or do you drive to work?
Yes, because transportation affects everyone, so the conversation can flow naturally. And the answers are always simple. For example, yes, it gets crowded, or I walk to work.
Another topic that beginners can use is food. Food is one of the easiest ways to make small talk. You can ask, "What's your favorite thing to eat?" Or, "Do you like trying new restaurants?"
Yes, and food conversations are fun. They help people connect quickly, and the answers don't need to be complicated. For example, I like pizza, or I enjoy cooking at home.
And beginners can even use simple compliments like, "That sounds delicious." It helps show interest.
Something else beginners can practice is talking about music. You can ask, what kind of music do you like? Or do you listen to music when you work?
Yes, and it's okay if the answer is short. Like, "I like calm music," or "I listen to pop songs." That's all you need.
And if you don't know the band someone mentions, you can still respond naturally. For example, I haven't heard of them, but I'll check them out. It sounds friendly and open minded.
That's a great tip. Beginners often worry they need to know everything, but it's completely fine to say you don't know something.
Another very useful phrase is, oh, really? Tell me more. It's simple and encourages longer answers.
Yes, that phrase is like magic. It works in almost every situation. If someone says, "I visited my cousin last weekend," you can respond, "Oh, really? Tell me more." It shows real interest.
Another helpful beginner strategy is talking about plans. Asking about plans can create easy conversation. For example, do you have any plans for the weekend? Or are you doing anything after work?
And beginners shouldn't feel pressured to give big answers. They can say, "I might relax at home," or "I'm not sure yet." Simple is okay.
Yes. And if you want to add a tiny detail, you can say, I might watch a movie, or I'm thinking about meeting a friend.
That makes the answer sound more complete, but still easy.
Another type of small talk is talking about where someone lives, but only in a general way. Beginners should avoid asking personal details, but asking something light like, do you live nearby? Is friendly and safe.
And if someone asks you, you can reply with something soft like, "Yes, I live close," or "Not too far from here." You don't need to give exact locations.
Exactly. Keeping things general is polite and comfortable.
Another area beginners can practice is talking about entertainment, movies, TV shows, podcasts. For example, have you watched anything good recently?
Yes. And if the answer is no, you can still continue the conversation. You can say, I haven't watched anything lately either, or I'm looking for new recommendations.
That creates a natural exchange, even if neither person has much to say.
And beginners should remember that small talk is not about deep topics. It's about creating light, friendly connection.
Yes, and because of that, beginners should avoid heavy subjects when making small talk, especially with someone new. Topics like politics or stressful personal issues aren't good for beginners.
Definitely. Keep it light, keep it simple, keep it friendly.
Another way beginners can keep conversations going is by asking preference questions. Do you prefer mornings or evenings? Do you like tea or coffee? Do you enjoy quiet days or busy days?
Yes, preference questions are great because the answers are always easy and fun, and they naturally lead to more conversation.
And if two people have different preferences, that still creates conversation. Like if you said, "I prefer mornings," and I said, "I'm more of a night person," we'd automatically discuss our routines.
Exactly. And here's something else. Beginners shouldn't be afraid to repeat simple phrases. Native speakers repeat phrases like, oh, nice, that's good, and really, all the time.
Yes, simple reactions are natural. Nobody expects complex sentences in everyday small talk.
Something else beginners can practice is talking about their day in a calm way. For example, today was a long day, or I had a quiet day. Those are safe and easy topics.
And after that, you can add something like, "How was your day?" That keeps the conversation balanced.
Another great way to make small talk smoother is using soft, friendly transitions. Beginners don't realize how useful these phrases are. For example, by the way, or that reminds me, or speaking of.
Yes, transitions help connect ideas. For example, if you said, "I watched a movie yesterday," I could say, "Speaking of movies, have you watched the new one everyone is talking about?" It sounds natural.
And transitions help avoid awkward silence. They guide the conversation in a comfortable direction.
Another thing beginners can use is sharing tiny experiences. For example, "I tried a new cafe last week." That's enough to open a whole topic.
Yes, and someone can reply, "Really? How was it?" Or, "Where is it located?" Very natural.
And if you want to shift topics gently, you can say, "Actually, that reminds me of something." It's one of the easiest ways to change the subject without sounding strange.
And beginners should also practice ending conversations politely. Small talk doesn't last forever, so it's good to know how to close it. For example, "It was nice talking to you," or "I hope you have a good day."
Yes, polite endings are important. And if you want to end a conversation but still sound friendly, you can say, "Let's talk again soon."
And one more thing, beginners should not worry about mistakes. Small talk is forgiving. Even native speakers make small grammar mistakes in everyday conversation.
Exactly. What matters is sounding friendly, listening, and responding in a simple way.
And that's why small talk is such a great way to practice English. It's natural, it's easy, and you can do it anywhere.
And the more you practice it, the more confident you become.
So keep practicing with us, keep listening, and keep improving your everyday English skills.
And of course, if you enjoyed this practice session,
Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next conversation.
we'll see you in the next episode.
See you soon.